Okay, good evening, ma. Excuse me. You are welcome to class. This is PED144 Primary Mathematics Curriculum course. In today's class, our concern is with Unit 2, which says features of the new year, features of the new 9-year basic mathematics curriculum. The features of the new 9-year basic excuse me, mathematics curriculum. And what are we going to learn in this unit? We'll first introduce ourselves to the new National Mathematics Curriculum for Basic Education program. We'll then move to talking about why do we teach mathematics. Then mathematics as problem solving, mathematics communication, mathematics as reasoning, mathematics as connection, and organization of the 9-year basic mathematics curriculum format. Those are the things we'll be doing in this unit, we'll be reading about in this unit. As a form of introduction to this unit, this school curriculum or the school curriculum comprises all learning and other experiences that each school plans for its pupils. Therefore, the national curriculum is an important element of the school curriculum, and a teacher's awareness of this is vital for effective usage of the curriculum. It is very important that you, as a teacher, knows the national curriculum on each subject. It helps you know what the nation has set as a standard or is expecting that you imbibe or achieve in those learners. Now, objectives of this unit. What are the things expected of you at the end of the unit? One, you should be able to explain mathematics as a problem-solving activities in all areas of life. You should be able to explain mathematics as diverse areas of life activities. And of course, you should be able to explain mathematics as a way of connections of ideas. Describe the format of primary mathematics curriculum. There is a part of this material that talks a bit about calculation, and that is where none usually dwells much on. We'll try our best to dwell well on that and make sure we practice all the questions and formulas. Thank God I'm very good in mathematics, so that is going to be an advantage for us. Now, let's get to business. We want to read about the 9-year basic mathematics curriculum. We're talking about the national curriculum. But the first thing we'd like to talk about today is the new national mathematics curriculum for the BEP, that's Basic Education Program. Let's start from the view of edition of the national mathematics curriculum for Basic Education Program. Start from Basic 1 to 9. That is the general objectives for the 9-year basic mathematics curriculum as revised by NEU is this. The curriculum is for the basic education program beginning from basic 1 to 9. In this new curriculum, there is no primary mathematics education. That is primaries 1 to 6 and GSS 1 to 3. We just have basic 1 to 9. So the two levels of education, the primaries and the GSS, have been infused into basic 1 to 9. Before this new 9-year basic primary mathematics basic curriculum, or in any way we put it, what we usually use before was primary 1 to 6 and then GSS 1 to 3, then you go to your SS. But now the new curriculum seems to have compressed both primaries and GSS classes together into basics. So we have them as basic 1 to 9. Basic 1 to 6 seems to be for the primary school, 7 to 9 for the GSS. Now, they have been infused into basic 1 to 9. Pupils are expected to continue their education from basic 1 to basic 9 without interruption. Now, if you look at it, basically, those in GSS, they are still primary school pupils. There is this thing we usually ask ourselves. I don't know if you've noticed. We say, what is the importance of GS, junior WAEC? Like, we basically didn't say the importance. Since I left school, I've never used that result for anything. As good or as bad as it was, it hasn't been useful for anything. I'm not even sure if they requested for it before I entered my senior school. My senior, because I did my junior school in a private school, then I did my senior school in a federal government school. So even when I was about to get admission into FGC, then I'm not sure they requested for the junior WAEC. So sometimes we'll get confused that what is the need for the junior WAEC? So it's just as if somebody is still in primary school. That GSS class is just like a continuation of primary school. Now, this revised curriculum became necessary because the Universal Basic Education UBE Bill of 2004 mandated a 9-year compulsory education. That new curriculum came into space in 2004 when there was a mandate by the Universal Basic Education to have a 9-year mandatory education. So that is an icebreaker there as we continue. Now, second, we are looking at the reasons why the revised edition came into use, why we started using basic 1 to 9 instead of primaries 1 to 6 and GSS 1 to 3. Now, the second thing is second, the needs and MDG goals necessitated also the need to revise this curriculum where necessary. Needs and MDG goals. The needs and MDGs goals also brought about a necessity for the revision of that curriculum. But I don't want just to, sorry, I don't want us to just be like reading and just reading and reading and reading. Let's dwell much or dwell more on, excuse me, let me try to fix this. So let's dwell more on MDGs and because the fact that it's all written in capital letter, it seems it's much more than need. Like when we say the need of someone, what somebody is craving or necessity that is a kind of want or lack in someone's life. Now, sentence. When we say, I'm saying that this network is very slow here, but I don't know if you can hear me. Let me know. This one that's MTN is so slow. Please, are you with me? Or the network is so if you can hear me, I'm not even getting a response from you, so I don't even know if you are hearing me now. That is a challenge. I'm not sure you are hearing me. I'm feeling because my mic seems not to be moving. I don't know why. Can you hear me? What's the issue with this? I need to know if you are here before we continue anything. It's very important to know if you are here with me. It's, what's really the issue with this mic? fluctuating. Okay, that is unusual, and I think that is as a result of network. I don't really know what we'll do to this Nigerian network. Okay, so what we are trying to say there is that the second reason why we had the revised curriculum is because of needs and MDG goals. I know that you probably know the meaning of MDG goal, which is I think that is Millennium Development Goals. That is what we call MDGs, Millennium Development Goals. We have about 8 of them given globally. It's a global, that one is a global standard. So the the MDG stands for Millennium Development Goals, like you've seen in the chat box. We have 8 of them. That those goals were 8 in number. They were set by, I think that is United Nations in 2000, and those were goals they set to be achieved in 2015 or so. So because Nigeria had new educational needs and wanted to achieve the Millennium Development Goals, so the basic mathematics curriculum had to be reviewed and updated where necessary so that it's going to meet our own needs as a country and also help us to align with the Millennium Developmental Goal. That's what they're trying to say there. Now, the revised national mathematics curriculum for basic education in Nigeria is focused on giving children the opportunity to do the following. Excuse me, it's focused on giving children the opportunity to do the following. So, what are the millennium goals that we are talking about? Let's start from the first one. Children should be able to acquire mathematical literacy necessary to function in an information age. We are actually in the information age, undoubtedly, but children need skills in this age in order to function because the age seems to be running faster in terms of knowledge than the world itself. So, children will need to acquire mathematical literacy. That means ability to perform mathematical functions where necessary. Now, they should be able to cultivate the understanding and application of mathematical skills and concepts necessary to thrive in the ever-changing technological world. That is the second revised curriculum. Another thing you are trying to achieve in them as a teacher when you are teaching the mathematics is to develop the essential element of problem solving. This seems to be one of the heart of mathematics. You become so good in problem solving, critical thinking. When you are faced with a challenge, you are able to shoot and come up with multiple options that could be a means of resolution to those challenges. So not only problem solving, but communication, reasoning, and connection within their study of mathematics. Another thing you are trying to achieve in them or imbibe in them as a teacher teaching mathematics is for your learner to understand the major ideas of mathematics, bearing in mind that the world has changed and is still changing. Since the first national mathematics curriculum was developed in 1977, this is a vital information suitable for exam. So, since then, there is need to incorporate such information into education, environmental degradation, and drug abuse, and of course HIV, AIDS, and so on and so forth. So I'm trying to get all possible. This network is. I hope it's not like someone is trying to call me because some of these people are very fun. So when somebody is in class, they remember they want to call you. Oh, it is well. I just hope it's going to go through. I'm sorry about that. So that is an icebreaker there. In fact, I have a lot of icebreaker in this place. I'm still going to bring another one. All right, so let's continue. If you are able to hear me, this gave rise to the need to make the curriculum more responsive to the survival and developmental needs of the Nigerian child. It should also be noted that this curriculum places emphasis on affective domain and quantitative reasoning, unlike the previous curriculum. This is to boost students' achievement in cognitive and psychomotor capabilities. Cognitive and the psychomotor. My external microphone, if because I'm feeling like you are not even hearing me like this. So that is where I'm feeling. Oh. It's doing me like you are not hearing me at all. Because even those icebreakers I'm putting up there, no response. So I doubt if you are hearing me at all. I don't know if you are hearing me now, but I hope so that you are hearing me because the the mic seems not to be moving at all. It's not even as if I'm speaking at all, and that is so bad. And you are not even responding to the chat, so I don't know if you are here. I need the response so I will know if you are here with me or not. So that statement that we just finished reading, which says that the need of mathematics in this ever-changing world of communication technologies, population, family life education, environmental degradation, drug abuse, and HIV and AIDS gave rise to the need to make the curriculum more responsive to the survival and developmental needs of the Nigerian child. Now, it should also be noted that this revised curriculum placed emphasis on affective domain and quantitative reasoning, unlike the previous curriculum. Now, what are they trying to say here? Now, we are trying to say that the changes in our society, especially in the country's educational needs, like in the need we want to meet the Millennium Developmental Goals, the MDGs, and the rest of them. Now, it made it necessary to redesign the curriculum so that it will better prepare Nigerian children or Nigerian children for their life or for life, especially for survival needs, which is the kind of knowledge that's the knowledge and skills that children need to cope with everyday life. And those are problem solving, critical thinking, even financial literacy like money, handling money, and making informed decisions, and so on and so forth. So now you can see that that part is also trying to talk about their developmental needs, which is, of course, helping them to develop in one way or the other. Now, excuse me, have I gotten a response from you? Have I gotten a response from you? Okay, all right, thank God. So now let's continue. I'm still trying to explain this. Let me highlight it so that you know what I'm explaining. Now, mm, another thing you see there is that it mentioned affective domain. I know we have done affective domain a lot of time. What it means is that the new curriculum, the new design, focuses more on two important areas that were not given much attention in the first curriculum. What are those important areas? The first one is affective domain. And I know we have done with this affective domain. We've mentioned it in almost all your courses, but in different applications. But when we talk about affective domain, we're talking of domain like the attitude of the children, of the learner, the values they hold there, the interest they build, their emotions, and the appreciation they have for the subject, which is mathematics. So those are the things that falls under affective domain. When we are talking about affective domain, we're actually talking about domains of emotion, interest, values, attitude, and appreciation, like we've done in one of your courses, if you remember. So instead of only teaching pupils how to solve mathematical problems like the other curriculum, just focused on just know that 2 plus 2 is 4. That's all you need to know. It wasn't applying it to life or taking them to think beyond 2 plus 2 is 4 outside the box of the classroom. So it teaches this new curriculum now dares to teach or develop positive attitude in the children towards mathematics. Also, it helps them to be confident in solving problems. They'll become honest and accurate in calculations and also appreciate the use of mathematics in everyday life. That is what we mean by affective domain. The second domain mentioned in this new curriculum design based on the text I highlighted. I'm trying to explain the text I highlighted now. That was the last part we read. The second thing mentioned there, if you look at that critically, is that they said that this new design also contributes to quantitative reasoning. And this is the ability to think logically and solve problems using numbers or mathematical ideas, using mathematics to solve problems. Now, let's take an example. When you are talking of quantitative reasoning, if you tell your pupils in class now, or you probably train them or you teach them, and now they are not able to compare the prices of items in the market before they buy them. Maybe they went to this the Mama Ngozi store. Mama Ngozi said rice, a Congo or mudu of rice is 2,500. Then they go to Mama Chinedu shop. Then Mama Chinedu said is 2,450. So they should be able to compare that. Mama Chinedu 2,450, Mama Ngozi 2,500. That means Mama Chinedu's one is cheaper than Mama Ngozi's one. No, me I will buy from Mama Chinedu. At least I will save 15 naira. They get to that level. That's what they're trying to say, that the new curriculum doesn't only teach them that 2 plus 2 is 4 or 3 plus 3 is 6. It also develops their affective domain and then their quantitative reasoning. Then under their quantitative reasoning, something happens. They learn how to compare prices of items before buying them. They can interpret graphs and tables when they see. They can estimate the cost of something. If they are taught now and they say, okay, how much will it take you to get all your school items, all your school materials for this first term? You can say, oh, I need 15 exercise book, and they are selling one exercise book for 200 naira. So I will not multiply it by 15. Oh, that is 3,000. Then they will be able to give estimate. Those are things that mathematics contribute to their daily living. That is the part of quantitative reasoning. And then they should be able to also know more about discounting and percentage, like give discount when okay, somebody say you said you are selling this thing 2,000, and somebody said, please discount now. And okay, let me remove 100 now for it. Sorry, for you from it. So all those kind of things are the uh, the contribution of mathematics based on the new curriculum design to the learner's life, the pupil's life. Then they mention another domain, which is cognitive domain. And this is domain that has to do with thinking. We've talked about cognitive before in one of your courses, and that cognitive deals basically with thinking, like thinking and the knowledge domain. When we talk about cognitive, we're talking about the thinking domain or the knowledge domain. And when we're talking about this, we're saying that mathematics, the new design, helps them to remember fact. So they are trained in the knowledge of mathematics through the new design cognitively to be able to remember fact, to be able to understand concept, difficult concept. They were able to apply the knowledge to daily living. They'll be able to analyze problem when problems occur. They will think mathematically to analyze. So these are the things that, so you are seeing now that your role as a teacher is not just to make your pupils understand that 2 plus 2 is 4. It's now deeper than that. There are quite a lot of levels you will take them to. It's now more than that. It's not just 2 plus 2 is 4. You are doing more. They should be able to evaluate their solutions, even create new ideas. That is so much more that mathematics, based on the new curriculum and the alignment with the MDG, is bringing to space. Now, they also mentioned something which is psychomotor domain. I'm trying to explain that because if you just read it and go, there are some important words there that if you do not pick, we would have missed what they are trying to pass here. It's not just all about reading. Yes, I know that NOUN is more of cramming, but sometimes when you understand it, when you see it in the exam, you will know what to write. So uh, they also talked about psychomotor domain, and you know that when we talk of psychomotor, based on the ways it has been used from your different materials that we've studied before, where they mention psychomotor, it is the aspect of life that has to do with practical and physical skills. Practical and physical skills. And when we are talking of psychomotor in mathematics, we are talking of things like using of rulers, like using rulers to rule out the length of something, using compass or compasses, protractors. We use protractors a lot in junior school. I remember then. They should be able to draw shapes. They should know that this one is triangle, this one is rectangle, this one is square, and so on. So they should be able to measure objects too, and of course, they should be able to use instrument, mathematical instrument. So those are the things that this new curriculum design has helped us to achieve. Now let's move on as we read. So the thematic approach was also adopted in selecting the content and learning experiences in the curriculum. Now this is because it is useful in accommodating new content or program without necessarily disrupting the entire content or curriculum structure. Now, there are now 6 themes. We now have 6 themes in this revised curriculum. Number and numeration is the first theme. Basic operations is the second theme. Measurement is the third theme. Algebra process is the fourth one. Geometry and mensuration is the fifth one, and the sixth one is everyday statistics. If you check most of the primary school mathematics textbooks, you find out that each of these themes they mention appears as topic in it. Now, this is a teaching curriculum. Thus, it provides maximum aid for the teacher or expected learning outcomes stated in measurable terms. So pupils and teachers activities and adequate evaluation guide. For this curriculum to be effective in achieving the purpose for which it is meant, the following recommendations are made. The following recommendations are made. One, it is strongly recommended that copies of this document be made available to teacher and much emphasis placed on its use in order to achieve the stated objectives. Every teacher is expected to have a copy. Now, you need to put these recommendations in mind because you know the way NOUN set questions. We have 3 of them. So in exam or in TMA, they may list 4 of them. One will be odd one out, and you have to pick out the odd one out. Now, the first one is that every teacher is expected to have a copy of the curriculum so that they will be able to make use of it to achieve the objectives of the curriculum. Now, there is need, the second one, there is need to organize workshops for teachers, supervisors, and inspectors on how to interpret and use the curriculum. It is not just having a copy that matters. What if you have a copy but you don't even know how to use it? So there's also a need for that follow-up. That's why you see that time to time teachers seem to attend seminars, workshop. It's not because you wonder what are they teaching teachers. Yes, nobody is above teaching anyway, but you need to upscale your skills. So Handling you the curriculum copy is just one step. Another thing that is much more important is teaching you what to do with it. And the third one is the minimum qualification for teachers teaching in. So it means all those private school that employs to to teach to teach in their junior secondary school, they are actually they are doing the wrong thing. The minimum qualification expected is somebody with national certificate in which we know is very common, NCE. Now, university graduates of first degree and above in various disciplines teaching in basic 1 to 9 must have education qualification for the basic education program to succeed. That's what they're trying to say. So even if you have first degree already, you have your BSc, your BA, your BTech or anything. In order for you to teach in basic 1 to 9, especially mathematics, you still need to have something related to education like NCE. Finally, it is our hope that the revised National Mathematics Curriculum will achieve the goals and objectives of the Universal Basic Education Program in Nigeria as contained in the National Policy of Education written in 2004 and the UBA Universal Basic Education Bill of 2004. So that is that on that. Now, why do we teach mathematics, which is another concept we try to go into now? We want to know why we teach mathematics, and I think that is what knowing. Yes, National Certificate in Education. Thank you. So, the next thing we are going into is why we need to study mathematics, and it's worth checking. Why? Why? What do we want to achieve in our mathematics lesson? That is one. This is a good question which all teachers should ask themselves from time to time in their daily practice. Different teachers may have different answers to this question. Some possible answers to the first question are mathematics is important and useful in our daily life. Another one is mathematics is the basis for other subjects such as science and engineering. Okay. Another one is mathematics helps us develop logical thinking. And another one is mathematics helps us find the right way to solve problems. Some may even say I like mathematics or the importance of mathematics or school mathematics in the teacher's mind. Nevertheless, each answer is only a partial answer to the question. To look for a comprehensive answer, we inevitably need to address the question why mathematics is essential in our world. So, what are we trying to say here? If you ask teachers randomly, why do they teach mathematics? You are going to have several answers based on different perspectives and views and experiences. But each of the views you are likely going to get will be limited to the scope of that teacher's maybe cognitive faculty, the thinking process, the experiences, how much the person knows, or how the person thinks. But there should be a standard way of answering that question. Why do we teach mathematics? So we need to look at the importance of mathematics to the world at large, the world we find ourselves living in. That will help us to come up with a comprehensive answer to that kind of question. Why do we teach mathematics? Now, the approach taken in planning the mathematics curriculum in Nigeria is that the subject should be a friendly one and thus is planned or structured to meet the needs of students regardless of their abilities, whether they are smart or dull. Now, this approach differs from the previous approach where mathematics is approached in a specialized manner. It is in the previous approach that mathematics was, approached in a specialized manner. And I think, I don't know if we should dwell a bit on that, or I think it's self-explanatory. We actually did not talk much on that old curriculum here because it's not our concern. What they want you to know here is the new curriculum. So, but there is this thing that there is no how you'll be talking about the old, that sometimes you'll not be making references to the sorry, there's no how you want to talk about the new and sometimes you will not be making references to the old. That is what is happening here. Now, the curriculum is organized on six main themes, like we've mentioned earlier: number and numeration, basic operations, mensuration, measurement, algebra process, geometry, and mensuration, and everyday statistics. Now, these six blocks are chosen based on the belief that in everyday living, in everyday living, one is often faced with these elements in the order listed. In everyday living, you are likely going to meet number and numeration. You will need to do basic operations. You may need to measure. You will do algebraic processing, geometry that helps you to navigate, know about distance and uh, the locations, and mensuration, and even everyday statistics. So the way they arrange it, that is the way those things are needed. They are order of importance on daily basis. So in addition, solving mathematical problems encountered in one's daily life becomes the overriding concern in the curriculum. In essence, if we are to say the main reason why we are teaching mathematics in this current world now is to be able to imbibe the sense of problem solving in the learner, to tackle any problem or any mathematical problem they encounter in their daily lives. So the next thing we are going into is mathematics as problem solving. I know we still have time, so I won't say do we still have time. So let's continue. Mathematics as problem solving. Although the definition of problem solving may differ from the of NCTMs in 1992, it nevertheless becomes the significant element to be emphasized in the teaching and learning of mathematics. Now, teachers are expected to intentionally teach students on the heuristic of problem solving. Although teachers are free to choose the strategy suitable for their students, they are encouraged to follow those recommended by Poya in 1974. I Now, I think we should check what it we need to learn about this man, that Poya's uh, recommendation, because they can't just tell us to choose the recommendation of Poya in 1974. Why did he mention it here? So we need to know what Poya says. Now, let's break that place down because we've read it now, and I don't think we understand anything yet on it until we explain it to ourselves. With this, it says, although the definition of problem solving may differ from what the NCTM, the first thing I would like us to know is what is the full meaning of NCTM? That is National Council of Teachers of Mathematics. They gave a definition of problem solving in 1992. National Council of Teachers of Mathematics. In 1992, they gave their own definition. So the definition we are going to look at in this material is not that of the NCTMs. Now, another thing I want us to check there is okay, I I want to talk about the heuristic part. Yes, there's another thing mentioned there, but before that one, let me try to talk more on that NCTMs whatever. Now, what they're trying to say is that regardless of how we define problem solving, the most important thing is that uh, problem solving is a part of mathematics education. From that statement, what they're just trying to, if you look at it critically, they're just trying to tell you, we're actually learning mathematics. So let me be talking like a mathematician too. Sorry. Now, I really love anything that I have to do with mathematics. That's my field. Now, problem solving is one of the most important part of mathematics. That is what they're trying to say in this statement or paragraph. Now, what they're trying to say is that regardless of how we define problem solving, in mathematics it is an important aspect, and it should be able to, which means mathematics should be able to teach pupils formulas, calculations, and even how to memorize. So not only those things, that is when you talk of mathematics, what comes to mind is the subject that teaches students formula, calculations, and they have to memorize some things. Now that is not what mathematics should be based on only. That is what that definition is trying to, that thing they are trying to talk about in that paragraph. That's what they're trying to say, that it should do more because it deals with problem solving. It should teach them how to critically solve real life problems. Now, what we are trying to say is that instead of telling your children now, your pupils, that what is 25 times 12, for instance, if you say what is 25 times 12, you know, you are just teaching them formulas, calculation, and probably memorization. But what if you say, if Mama Ngozi bought 25 cartons of drinks, each carton is containing 12 bottles. How many bottles did Mama Ngozi buy altogether? Now, you are moving from just formula and calculation to real life problems, and that is what we mean by problem solving. This helps us in problem solving. In fact, that is primary concern. So it doesn't matter how you define it, whether NCTM's definition or we will come on any other definition. We are trying to say that problem solving is a primary concern of mathematics. Now, another, teachers are expected to intentionally teach students on the heuristic of problem solving. What they are trying to say is that teachers should be deliberate on teaching pupils the methods and techniques that they need to solve problems. Now, what does heuristic means there? It practically means strategies, like step by step. You do this one first, then you do this one next, then you get the result, or you mix this one. So it's a step-by-step method used to solve problems, especially problems that you are not familiar with. So heuristic is a method of solving problems step by step, especially problems that you are not familiar with. That is what we are trying to say there. Now, another thing is, he said, although teachers are free to choose the strategy suitable for their students. You understand? Like, you as a teacher now, you are free. You are permitted to choose the most suitable strategy for your student. However, there is no single compulsory method that this is the method that you must use, or this is the method that must be used. No such thing. No single method is correct or incorrect. You should be able to adopt when you study your student. Now, another thing mentioned there is now that of POYA. That is even the main thing that I want us to deliberate on. They said they are encouraged to follow those recommended by POYA. What were the recommendations of POYA? We need to look at them. So even though teachers have the flexibility of choosing the best method of problem solving for their students or pupils, there is a particular well-known method given by the person called POYA in 1974. His full name is George POYA. George POYA. Now, you are supposed to know it because that is a generally accepted standard of teaching problem solving. And he actually proposed four basic steps. If I'm correct, he proposed four basic steps of solving mathematical problems. That man Poya, he gave us four basic steps of solving mathematical problem. One is for you to understand the problem. Two is devise a plan. Three is carry out the plan. Then four is look back. Understand the plan, understand the problem, devise a plan, carry out the plan, look back. So those are Poya's. Let me drop them for you in the chat box. So in case you are jotting, the standard of solving mathematical problems given by Poya in 1974. Those are the ones I'm listing there. First of all, you must understand the problem. So according to Poya, the problem you want to solve requires you to understand it. If you don't understand it, so if you tell your puppy now that Mama Ngozi bought 25 cartons, you understand? And then in each carton, we have 12 bottles. They first need to understand the concept you are trying to pass to them before they can even make an attempt of solving anything. Otherwise, nothing will be solved. So that is why Poya says the first thing in solving mathematical problem is for you to understand the problem. And what this means is that read the question fully, identify what is given and what is required of you. The second one says devise a plan. And what he is trying to say there is that decide which mathematical method or formula will be able to solve the problem. For instance, I'm given a simultaneous equation and then I understood it as a quadratic equation. You know that I will never be able to solve that problem. Why? Because my understanding of the problem is already wrong from the beginning. Therefore, a correct plan of solving it will be difficult. So, if I'm able to identify that this is a simultaneous equation and it is truly a simultaneous equation, I have fulfilled the number one point or step of Poya in 1974, which means I should understand the problem. Then when I now see that okay, this is simultaneous equation, and I devise a plan deciding that okay, the formula for simultaneous equation is this, and I pick that formula, then I have devised a plan of solving the problem I have just understood. The next thing is for me to now carry out that plan by inputting the figures in the question, in the problem, into the formula and solving. That is solving the problem carefully. And the last thing is to look back. And what does it mean by looking back? You must check your answer to ensure that it is correct and reasonable. That is what Poya says. Understand the problem, devise a plan, carry out the plan, and look back to see if you have been doing well. Yes, you are free to adopt your own plan, but it is advisable that you follow the standard, the plan given by Koya. So let's finish reading this part. They said teachers are also encouraged to stimulate mathematical problems based on their daily experiences. It's not only the textbook that you need to give them problems based on your own daily experiences or what you know that the children experience on daily basis, things they are used to. So more specifically, teachers are expected to provide varied experiences through which students can work individually or in groups in tackling mathematical problems. Now, the curriculum places heavy emphasis on the relationships between mathematics and real life problems. And the reason is that if you are telling me that x squared plus y squared is equals to the root of z, I will not understand. But if you tell me that when I pick two pieces of apple together from one box and I have another box containing apples and I pick another color of, that one I'm able to relate to it. Place emphasis on relationship. So if you are teaching them simultaneous equation, what can they apply it to in real life? You must help them to relate it to real life problems. So they are not just learning formulas, solving formulas, and memorizing or cramming. They know where those things are applicable in real life. The last thing we are going to talk about today is now this last part that said problem solving in real context are considered essential in helping students appreciate mathematics. So in short, problem solving becomes the focus in the curriculum. What they're not trying to say is that this new 9 year or nine is it 9 year basic mathematics education is focused primarily on problem solving. So when you want to teach pupils of primary school 1 to 9 and 1 to 6 and probably GSS, your main focus is helping them understand problem solving. In other words, why do we teach mathematics? We teach mathematics to help the learners, the pupils, understand the importance of problem solving, how to solve problem solving skills. That is the main thing you are imbibing in them, so that your attention will shift from them just knowing 2 plus 2 or 25 times 2 or 10 times 10, no, to them knowing the implication or application of 10 times 10 in real world events, real problems and real challenges. So that is where we are going to stop today, because I think we have exhausted our time. And even if we have not exhausted our time, my PC is very low, but I hope they will bring it later. So if we are unable to do the second class now, I think we'll do it later in the night. But anytime they bring light, as soon as they bring this light or restore the light, I will chat you. So we'll start that second class. But for now, we will not be able to do it because the PC is just on 10% or so. It won't take us to the end of that class. So enjoy the rest of your evening for now. I will keep you updated on when we'll start the second class. In the next class, we'll start from mathematics as communication. And then the new timetable, we'll start using it from next week. Because if we say we should follow it from today, the things you put today, the courses you put on today, we've done them already in this week.